everybody. Thank you for joining me for today's live stream. We have a lot of really juicy stories to go over, but I'd like to know, what the heck are these little crowns and numbers next to some of your names? Why doesn't YouTube ever tell me what changes they're making? So I see that some of you have like different colored little crowns and numbers, and when I click on them, it gives like a ranking, I guess, but I have no idea. Let's see, community leaderboard. What's the leaderboard? A place for fans to stand out in the community. The top 3 get special badges in the live chat. It resets every stream, so you can always try again. Ooh, competition! How do you get on the leaderboard? You'll need to collect experience points, or XP, and you get them by sending live chat messages or super chats and super stickers. Oh, there we go. Yeah, it's constantly changing during the stream. Thank you, Bubbles. Alex, thank you for your generosity. Thank you both. I really appreciate both of your generosity and Dancing Dog 60. Thank you for letting more people into the membership. That's right. YouTube has found a way to boost engagement with rankings. Let's rank some stuff, as we like to do. All right, so let's see what happens. I appreciate people's enthusiasm to be able to rank on the leaderboard, but let's see if you can do it without spamming the comments section. I have it on as slow mode as it can go, so we don't want to ruin the experience either. Okay, so as always, please try to keep your questions and comments to the story at hand. I'll be addressing your questions and comments at the end of each section. And then at the very, very end of the stream, we will have time today for Ask Me Anything. Can I turn it off, Klaus? I don't think so. And would I even want to? Okay. All right. You guys are all very sweet. Thank you. The Sue Storm comparisons today have been very funny. And when I did decide to wear this shirt, it wasn't intentional, but as I pulled it out of the drawer, I was like, it's a little Sue Stormy. Hey, Bug. All right. I always appreciate the positive comments about my appearance. I'll talk to Namor. Sure. Maybe he won't be devoid of love once. I don't know. Let's keep it good. All right. Hey, Grits. Thanks, Grits. Thanks you, everybody, for your generosity. You're all very, very kind. All right, so yeah, let's get going. I got some major tea to spill today. All right, hold on. So story number 1. Where am I? All right. Boop. Oh. Boop, 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 boop. All right. So, I don't like to directly spoil things. I think that's uncool. But I do plan to hint at some major spoilers during this segment. I'm not going to outrightly spoil anything, but I am going to kind of point you in the right direction. All right, but the first thing we want to talk about is they had a Fantastic Four test screening. They just had a Fantastic Four test screening. And so some people, I think, might wonder, why have a test screening now? And usually Disney and Marvel do their test screenings for friends and family to try and control spoilers. Only they learned that does not work. I think they're probably a little bit nervous about the film. I wouldn't have test screened it because a whole bunch of stuff leaked about it, which I'm about to kind of go over with you. And I'm very I really feel that the movies should work as hard as they possibly can to protect spoilers. I think, I don't think One More Day, whatever the last Spider-Man movie was, that certainly didn't test because everybody was wondering up until actually it released whether or not Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield were in it. And I think, to me, Sony is the best in terms of how they handled, No Way Home, thank you, and how they handled that situation. I think they actually handled it brilliantly. So I feel like they need to, I think I wouldn't have tested the movie, but they did. And I think they're really nervous. And I think they have every right to be nervous, particularly with how this test screening went. So I don't want to get in trouble. But this is really good. So let's just say that I think that Marvel not only is having a problem in terms of quality, thank you, cool guy, but I think that they're having a problem. I think they've lost a lot of respect. And I think you're going to, I think now they're starting to get treated much the way Star Wars and DC are treated. Whereas, before people were like, give Marvel the benefit of the doubt. I think Marvel has finally pushed its fans far enough where now their fans are angry as well. And I think that you're not going to see the same respectfulness that you did before. Now, the evidence I have to this is that I heard that the people who saw the screening they didn't hate it, to be clear, but they didn't love it. And apparently, from what I heard, I wasn't there, but from what I heard from a source that I trust, they were pretty vocal at the test screening. And I asked, by the way, just to be clear, I asked another person about this, and they said they didn't hear this. So I'm just telling you that it could go either way, but I trust my source. And I heard that, let's just say any executives who are at the test screening didn't need to look at the comment cards to find out that the audience thought the movie was medium. Let's just put it that way, okay? And so it's a lot funnier if I could just tell you the story, but I don't, again, I just, I'm covering my bases here. So that's that to me, I thought was very interesting. Nobody was booing because I said they didn't hate it. They didn't hate it. I want to be very clear, nobody booed Fantastic Four. But they might have shouted out, mid, okay? Or maybe one or two people said it, so maybe it wasn't like the whole audience erupted, but, one or two people might have said it, and then maybe someone might have heard it. All right, so that's kind of like what everybody, that's the rumor. It's a rumor, okay? It's a rumor. But I thought that was, I've never even heard that happening at a Star Wars or a DC screening. So I think 3 movies in a row is a little bit too much. All right, so then there was something else interesting. Now, as you might have heard, or as you're seeing, Marvel is getting really powerful characters. Wanda, Sentry, and these are characters who have power sets that are not only really substantial, where you get to the point where you get nervous that perhaps the characters might be overpowered, but I think their powers are hard to describe. They're almost like writing tricks, or like whatever the writer needs them to be able to do. So you get a little, I think they have to, so far I think we've been very happy. And actually these characters are quite similar, but I think I don't understand why there's so many of them. I'm going to talk, Wanda gets her whole own section, as you can see, because I'm getting a little nervous about Wanda. So let's just say Franklin is going to not only join this group, but surpass both these individuals. I don't believe that Franklin has ever done what he will be asked to do in this movie. I looked it up, and apparently he theoretically could do it. So because I was like, is this a new power set? And so I was looking it up, and I was like, oh, it seems that he could technically do it, but he never has done it before, right? So we'll see what he does. But I don't understand why there are 3 of these. And they're in such quick succession. They don't even give any of them a chance to breathe. And they are already moving on to the next one. So to me, that's weird. Oh, Mike, if you don't know who Franklin is, this is Sue Storm and Reed Richards' son. And he is, of course, he actually is technically supposed to be a mutant. We'll see if they continue with that. But he's a Nexus being. And so I'm curious to see how this goes over with audiences. To have somebody so powerful. I'm nervous. And that's right. That's right. Some of you were mentioning Gaia. She just disappeared, thank goodness. But it's just, I don't know. I'm not sure how it is to have characters. Riley, I think that Franklin's power set, as most people are familiar with it, is that he creates reality. He's basically, what Wanda did in WandaVision, that's what Franklin can do. And Franklin can create whole universes. And that's the reasoning that everybody's always thought that why Galactus would want him, because he could keep Galactus fed, because he can just create universes and worlds for Galactus to consume. But yeah, I'm curious as to what's going to happen here. So I heard that you're going to not only see Franklin use his powers, but you're going to see Franklin use his powers in a way he never has before, but theoretically could. All right, so that's the Franklin team. Then I'm very worried about the MCU situation. You know, that's, you know, a lot of us don't like that term, which has really taken, it's a very effective term. It has really taken hold. And I do think that there are some instances, you know, where Marvel has leaned into it to such a degree that, you know, it's hard not to use that as a description when you're like, but, you know, like, what do you want from me, man? You know, like, if maybe, like, if it was better balanced, you know, you wouldn't be able to use that. So I don't like the term, but I don't like the fact that Marvel continues to give certain groups the ability to use it. Like, I would think at this point that Marvel would be able to get out ahead of things and understand when they were going to run smack into the MCU allegation. And I was quite surprised to learn from this test screening. And, you know, I don't know, they could change things. I don't think it's too late to change anything. I mean, it would be very late for last minute reshoots, okay? However, someone just sent me 23 text messages, and I was like, oh my God, but they're just sending me pictures. I got really nervous. I was like, oh, do I need to stop the stream? But it's pictures. Okay, all right. So, how do I want to phrase this? Even though it's a team of one woman and 3 guys, I think that you're going to have a situation at the end of the movie where it's women who save the day. And you're like, why? Can't Reed at least be involved? You know, you're like, come on, man. You know, like, come on. Let's see what they decide to do. I mean, I guess technically Franklin. So I guess, okay, so women and a baby. You know? And you're like, why do you do it? Like, I don't want to say MCU, but then you're like, but what am I supposed to say in response to that? You know, like you got these great characters here, you know, Reed, Johnny Storm, Ben Grimm, you know, and then you're like, you know, we'll see how it goes down. We'll see how audiences react to it, but I don't know. I think it's not a good idea. I'm just surprised that when they pitch this stuff, someone doesn't say, well, guys, how do you feel about the MCU allegations that keep getting sent our way and do seem to be having an effect on how people perceive our brand? And then I'd be like, you know, I'm not saying we have to take anything away from anybody, but can I add like one guy into this? Like, just one guy. Can he just like kind of help out too? It can be a win for all of them, maybe? Can we? So, I don't know. I'm just really surprised. I think it's weird. Oh, that's right, Dancing Dog 60. First steps. That's good. That's very interesting. I'm sure it's supposed to mean multiple things, but I think that's one of them. Okay. So, we'll see what happens. I don't know why they do this stuff. Why? All right, now let's talk about Wanda, because I'm getting a little annoyed. All right, so Scarlet Witch. Somebody was like, Grace brings up Wanda in every video. I do, because Wanda's that amazing. There are so many, I mean, I don't know, maybe the algorithm is feeding me what they want, okay? On social media. But I think, you know, obviously there are a lot of accounts that are dedicated to Wanda and they do pretty darn good. So clearly there's interest in Wanda. Now, I had said in a recent video when I talked about the most popular female characters, you know, best and worst characters in the MCU, I had said that, you know, I would love to see Sue Storm and Wanda Maximoff work in conjunction, work together, you know, where, you know, Sue Storm is literally, you know, mother, and then Wanda is like that crazy biatch, right? So I thought that was really good. That's right, Wanda's attorney who's always talking with us and joining with us. However, based on what I heard about the movie, there's such a focus on Sue Storm as a mother that I was like, we already have a mother and her fight for her to protect her children. Why do we have 2 mothers? Okay, and like, does this mean that you're not gonna do anything with Wanda? You know, I don't understand. It seems like, Are they swift? It seems like, and it's a very similar storyline. Like Wanda's epic, crusade for her children has not been resolved. And now we're going to go and jump over to some other superpowered woman's crusade for her children. Unless they're going to be, trading notes and having play dates between their kids, it makes me a little nervous about it. I don't know. Let's just see what they decide to do. I would like both characters to be successful, but I'm surprised how much a focus there is on Sue Storm being a mother in the movie. So we'll see what they decide to do. I like them both, Ivan, but when you talk about Elizabeth Olsen's comments, you start to wonder, is Vanessa Kirby just going to come in here and take that place? Maybe she can. I think she does appeal to the same group. I like both of them. But I don't know. I feel it's a different type of character, to be honest with you. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe Sue Storm will appeal to everyone. Let's see what they decide to do. But I'm very nervous about the similarities between the characters. Bug phrased it well, that while many of us hardcore fans might love both of them, casuals might be like, we already just did this. So we'll see what they decide to do. How many women are going to ruin the world for their kids? And we're like, come on, guys, pick a lane. Are we supporting this stuff or not? What's happening? I don't know. I don't think it's the best portrayal of women. I don't know. I don't know. I guess I have to wait till I see it myself. But these are just things I'm nervous about. All right. Then finally, everybody, of course, wants to know, are we going to get a Doom tease? I think that technically you won't be disappointed, but I can't see myself. I think every single YouTuber is going to make a Doomsday video, after Fantastic Four comes out. But I don't think that, let's just say I don't think there'll be something to talk about too much in a video from the Fantastic Four movie. So that's kind of like what's going to happen. So we'll see how this goes over. But that's, a lot of information, as you can see, came out from the test screening. And so we'll see what we'll see how it goes over with the general public. We'll see how the film does. So far, they've got two movies. Actually, Thunderbolts isn't even going to hit 400 million. So, let's see how it's going to be coming out 2 weeks after Superman. And we'll see how all of these movies perform. But, that's kind of like how it went. I'm not going to poll this because, well, I guess I'll do a poll on, are you excited for Fantastic Four? Are you excited for Fantastic Four? Or let's do, are you planning to see it in theaters? Are you planning to see FF in theaters? So the first one is, yes, multiple times. Yes, once. Digital streaming. And then the fourth one will be skipping. And by the way, anyone who's watching, I appreciate everyone who's tuned in today, even if you're not a member. I understand not everybody can be a member. Don't worry about it. But I appreciate you tuning in, and you can have your voice heard in any polls. Anyone can vote in a poll. You just have to click on the poll and you can cast your vote. All right, so while people vote, I'm going to answer any questions or comments that you might have. Fernando says, what would be your answer for the poll? It's too hard for me because I'm too ingrained in it from a business perspective. So I just, before I see these movies, I'm always a nervous wreck. So I will say it's now my least exciting of the 3 movies coming out in July. My first one is after the last trailer, Jurassic World Rebirth. Then I kind of liked the last Superman trailer, as you know. And then I would put Fantastic Four at the bottom. I will be honest with you. I don't expect to hate it. I don't expect to love it. So the reaction to the test screening, seems realistic to me. Paris Bowens, that's a nice name. And, Doc Hayes says that they've never been excited for Fantastic Four. And that's something to me that I think is very important. Fantastic Four has never been that popular as a property. This is its third time, technically fourth. So I don't know why Kevin Feige feels that he can make Fantastic Four work. Let's see if he's right or if it's like, It's the same as Superman. Superman's never been hugely popular. I mean, he was with that one time with Christopher Reeve, but that was the first superhero movie ever in general. But, even Man of Steel underperformed, and that's why they had to stick Batman in the sequel. So you're talking about two characters, Superman and the Fantastic Four, that have always struggled with the general public. And so here we go. Let's see here. Pi says, I will say that as someone who has been spoiled for the plot of Fantastic Four, I'll say we do get a Doom tease. Oh. Well, that's just what I said, Pi, but I agree you're backing me up on that. Oh, that's interesting. Some of you are saying you feel you've already seen the movie because of the leaks. Yeah, I think scoops are different, but I think when they actually post scenes from the movie, that to me I think is problematic. Like some of you said you watched Thunderbolts in bits and pieces on social media. That's really a problem. Adam Sphere says, I'm getting Regal Unlimited, so it doesn't cost me anything. Sockley wants to know what my parents are planning. I have to be honest with you. They didn't love Thunderbolts. I think it's too much for them. They're not comic book readers. And honestly, it took a lot to talk them into seeing Thunderbolts after Captain America. And so my parents said they're done with comic book movies. I mean, I think maybe I can get them to see Superman. I'm not sure. My dad wants to see Superman. But I really do feel that these last two movies just broke them. And so I don't see it happening with them. Paul says if they're having test screenings this late, are they intending to fix anything? What's the point? Maybe they just want to manage their expectations. That's a good point though, Paul. Like Superman was able to at the last minute add and subtract a few things. By the way, the Superman test screening rumors are I think mostly true, but I mean my opinion is who cares? As long as it's like, they reworked Rogue One. Yay, thank goodness they did. I think we just want to see Superman succeed, and I think that the reworkings are giving it the best shot possible. I don't think Superman's out of the woods yet, but I think that based on what was filmed and the choices that have been made, I think that they're going into the release in the best position that's possible. Steven says, I really hope that the MCU allegations don't affect how they handle the X-Men. Well, that's the thing. I think that the X-Men, the female X-Men characters are incredible. But I think the important thing is balance. We've talked about this before. You want to give things to new groups, but you don't want to take away either. You want to continue to make things feel balanced and that everybody now feels welcome. And that's where I think Hollywood so often makes the mistake. I hope, I'm nervous about X-Men just in general. They couldn't be coming into the MCU at a worse time. Just as Deadpool said, you're coming kind of in at a low point, but I mean, maybe they'll save the day and then everyone will be like, yay, X-Men. Jason says, he really enjoys coverage of the MCU struggling. I think Hollywood's having a tough time and that people, I think that the top thing of interest these days is politics. And I think that Hollywood is struggling. You can see it as a result. It's very hard for Hollywood to get anyone to look over here. Look over here. And everyone's like, but I think that, negative, I think we're all I think a lot of people are still very angry in general. And so I think that you're seeing that go over into the Hollywood space. And it's very interesting to see, as long as you don't take any of it personally. Let's see here. C Black, I can't control, I try to be as generous as possible, but I'm not going to, not report things, CM, I didn't see your comment. That you're asking me if I would agree with it. You got to include the whole thing in one section. Tina says, Fantastic Four, you're in danger, girl. Let's see here. Ivan says, you love the Fantastic Four and will be supporting the movie. That's great. Also, they're coming to Mexico for CCXP. They are, and I'm sure they'll be very, very well received. I think that's great. They have Pedro Pascal in the cast. He's a king everywhere, but he'll certainly be a king there. And I think that'll go over very well. I think South America is, I think Brazil largely. I saw a really funny comment. Wagner Moura won Best Actor at the Cannes Film Festival, and I saw a tweet saying that the army of Brazilian film fans were already mobilizing to not only push him towards the Oscar win, but to take down his competition. You know, you can't take down competition if they don't give you a reason to take them down. I mean, let's see if the Brazilian film fans, you know, use their power for good. But we'll see what happens. I mean, they certainly are very powerful. Tyler says, I'm worried about the film not having enough or special action sequences. If that, yeah, I agree with that, Tyler. I'm concerned of that as well. And that, in fact, has been a trend throughout this year. And I'd like to point out that they have 3 streaming directors doing these movies. And say what you will about the Russo brothers, but they understand the importance of multiple action sequences, which is why I feel that Doomsday, you know, even if Doomsday is not great, it should be fun. Let's see here. Josh says, should we be concerned that both Superman and the Fantastic Four are getting edited after test screenings? I mean, I think there's always, you know, you're always like, well, that's a shame that it had to be fixed at the last minute, but, you know, there's always the hope that you'll get a Rogue One out of it, you know? Like, so I think it's a point of interest, but I don't think there's a reason to be super negative. Wow, look at that, almost 2,000 votes in the poll, baby! All right, a little over half of you, 53%, are seeing the movie at least once. Marvel's like, yes. All right, 16% of you will wait for digital or streaming. 15% of you are never going to watch it. And then 14% of you, only 14% of you are planning to go multiple times. And by the way, this is a group of people who should be very interested in the movie. So I think that's tough. Sean says, is there a way back for Marvel? The dreaded break that Star Wars is currently taking. Take a break. Maybe some change in leadership. Ooh. Okay, let's see here. I missed some questions and I've got to go on to the next story. Hey, viewer Anon. Hey! So nice to see you in here. Did you say anything? Let's see. Oh, I don't see it right now. Let me see here. Maybe you are now. Oh, hi! You said hi! Hey, viewer Anon and I are Twitter friends. Okay. We have a good laugh sometimes. Let's see here. Let me go back to... I'll get to you, viewer Anon, just 1 second if you want to say something, but I'm just making sure I didn't miss any other questions here. All right. So many things here. Oh my goodness. Let me do this quickly. I'm really behind here. Okay, Oliver says, I see what you mean about the MCU thing, but I think some people are just looking for something to complain about. They will. They definitely will, which is why I think it's important for films to be defensive. You have to give the trolls, you feed them as little as possible. Now, obviously, you still have to have creative control, but I think sometimes they just give softballs to the trolls. You're like, dude, you don't have to let them have a feast. All right, and also, if a troll says something that has traction, then there's real truth to the troll comment. And you can't just be dismissive of it. That's something that Hollywood has been unable to understand. Casey says, no one normal cares about the MCU crap. Well, I mean, I think that has to be part of the conversation. I think that there's no denying the films are not performing well. Pi says, if Hulk couldn't work, well, Hulk kind of worked. I agree with Dancing Dog 60. I don't know. I forget what the budget is for Fantastic Four. I mean, these movies are kind of tanking when you consider how expensive they are. But we're all being polite because we still, to some degree, are favorable towards Marvel. If it just gets better than $400 million, or high 400s, if it can just do better than Captain America 4, I think that would be considered a win at this point, which is kind of sad. Resident Justice says, I'm excited for both Superman and Fantastic Four. I hope both movies do well. Yeah, I mean, it would be great for Hollywood if they did, for sure. Innovative David says, a big part of me I miss these movies is the team-up factor. Yeah, I think there's too many of them. Pi says, F4 is oddly similar to Superman 2025. That's true, Pi. They both have like an antiquated, very positive, folksy kind of approach. Vitor says dads are going to love Superman. You know, it's interesting you say that because the last Superman movie, Man of Steel, did come out for Father's Day. And that's what we saw for Father's Day with my dad. I remember going to see that. Owen Tinkler says the Thunderbolts end credit scene showed a four-pronged ship versus the 3-1 and F4. Do you think the F4 goes somewhere else before 6? I don't know. Why would there? I think it must just be that you didn't see all the prongs. Because why would they be missing a prong, man? They're the Fantastic Four. Xenomorph says, scared for the MCU this year. Showed Thunderbolts with my brother and he figured out the end in 20 minutes. Uh-oh. Let's see here. KC says they do not think that Fantastic Four will hit 400. It's got to have a 4 in front of it. Fantastic Four? It's gotta. Let's see. 100 million for each member, hopefully. Ivan says, as a graphic designer who loves the modern retro art style, this movie was made basically for me. Oh, I'm glad you're having a good time with it. Elise, we don't know if Marvel's ruining Franklin Richards. We have to actually see it. Deck December says, hey Deck December. MM92 says, hey Grace, on a scale of 1 to 10, what are the odds for a Fantastic Four being like a huge hit? I think it's unlikely at this point, but I don't think it's going to be a flop. I think it has a solid chance of doing better than Captain America 4. Let me put it that way. I think it does have a pretty good chance of that. Adam Sphere says, keep X-Men separate from the MCU, please. Couldn't agree more. Could not agree more on that. Travis says, good or bad, I get to go to the movies with my son and have some have some buttery popcorn, a drink, and peanut M&Ms. You and your son are eating good, Travis. I like that positivity. Dan says, Grace, how do test screenings work and who gets to go? Well, I think test screenings cause real problems, but I'm actually a fan of them because I think sometimes you'd be surprised how the general audience reacts. For instance, I loved Batman v Superman, and I was surprised how many people not only disliked it, but downright hated it. So as a studio executive, you just don't know. I think the problem is it's social media. I was watching something the other day about old movies being released, and it took months for them to go across the country to get to wide release. They're like, we've only opened it in Chicago, and 2 months from now it'll hit New York. And I was like, oh, you can do that because people aren't going to go on social media and ruin the movie. I guess you could call up your friend and back in the day and go, hello, let me tell you the end of Mildred Pierce. I think that was the movie actually I love Mildred Pierce. I watch it every year or so. But yeah, I'd be like, I'll tell you the end of Mildred Pierce right now. Nobody did that. There wasn't spoiler culture. But I think that I don't know how to, I always felt they should create a council, but then how do you get a regular person's opinion? Who's like, I just can't take it anymore. Viewer Anon, let me go see if you said anything here. I know how to find out if you did. Hold on. The tool is not available to me here, but it is here, I believe. 1 second. Okay, I gotta find Viewer Anon and click on him. Here I come, Viewer Anon. I see you there. I'm coming. I'm coming, baby. There. Channel activity. Oh, Viewer Anon's just hanging out. Oh, that's very nice. I appreciate that, Viewer Anon. In many ways, your becoming a member, therefore, means even more to me. Thank you. Let's see here. Let me go subscribe to Viewer Anon. Pay it forward. There. I liked you back. I followed you back on Twitter there. Okay. I think we've been on this for half an hour, so we better get on to the next story. But I appreciate all the enthusiasm about this story. I think, at the very least, C-Black says, what? Poor C-Black. C-Black clearly is a big MCU and Fantastic Four fan. Why are you comparing Cap 4 to Fantastic Four with box office? Well, because unfortunately, Captain America 4 is the top MCU movie of the year. And that's not very high. And Thunderbolts couldn't top Captain America 4. So the question becomes, from a box office perspective, can Fantastic Four improve upon that position? What will be the top movie of the year? That's why they're being compared. I mean, I could also compare it to Deadpool and Wolverine, and I don't think that will go very well for Fantastic Four. Let's see. Okay. It's interesting. They have two great people who could be leading on X-Men. Bo DeMeo, but unfortunately things went really badly behind the scenes there. But clearly from a creative perspective, he really knows the X-Men. And then Jack Schaefer. So, oh my goodness, I'm not going to be able to, if I get to all the comments, it's going to take the whole live stream on just this story. Let me go, okay. I'm going. Abdul, I don't see your super comment. I'm looking. Oh, it's gone. I'm sorry. YouTube doesn't keep them for long enough. All right, let's get to the next story. I appreciate everyone's enthusiasm. Okay, next story. Story number 2. All right. Boy, I should have poured a lot of tea there. More than I had anticipated. Uh-oh. Okay. 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 All right. Okay. Oh, look at Wanda's attorney and viewer Anon becoming friends again. That's very nice. Okay. Story. Riley Steele said that Abdul said that Feige shouldn't lead the X-Men anymore. Oh, yeah. I did see that. I don't know if I'm prepared to be that aggressive against Kevin Feige, to be honest with you. I mean, that's really aggressive, right? I mean, some people love to call for people to be fired. I'm a little more sensitive to that. I would say that I don't have to say anything. I think that the answer to this stuff is pretty clear. I think that divisions need to perform, and if they don't perform, there needs to be a discussion as to why not and what changes need to be made for those divisions to perform. That's what I'll say. All right. I'm not getting paid the millions of dollars that Bob Iger is to fire these people. Ahem. Okay, story number 2. That's right. That's right, Skunkman. Let's boop. Let's boop, baby. Boop. All right, let's talk about Elden Ring. Elden Ring is like, please be excited for my story too. That's right, we're having an MCU sandwich today. MCU on both sides, baby, but right here in the middle, we've got Elden Ring. Woo! I tried to get excited about this game, but I'm having a hard time. I looked into it a little bit. All right, so let's get into it. Let me get my arrow so you know what I'm talking about. All righty. So, A24 sure is in the video game business, boy. Thanks, Junior. That's high praise. I love Liz Lemon from 30 Rock. All right, so A24 is actually making multiple video game movies. Because I was like, is this the Hideo Kojima movie? And no, that's Death Stranding. You know, Hideo Kojima is a big fan of A24 and pop culture in general. He's actually an influencer on the side. Oh, it's Kojima? Thank you, Kojima. And I gotta tell you, I think that if this is the director and star of Elden Ring, it needs someone like Kojima, thank you, Devin, Kojima to really push it in the space. I think, you know, it needs that kind of a cheerleader, but they don't have that. But yes, so Death Stranding is also coming along, and Michael Sarnowski, who did Pig, A Quiet Place Day One, and the upcoming Hugh Jackman Robin Hood movie. Oh, look, everyone being so nice to each other. Riley and Abdul talking to each other. You guys are so nice. I love everybody being so nice. Okay, so anyway, they're making this movie, Death Stranding. And this to me sounds like a little bit of a stronger package because I think that Kojima is really very, very powerful on social media. So he just has to tweet out about his movie and everyone will take a gander. But this isn't the movie that we're talking about. We're talking about Elden Ring. All right, so Elden Ring, here's a bigger picture of the box. It's like a fantasy movie, and here are some of the characters. I gotta tell you, I'm not feeling this game. You know, sometimes I see a game and I go, oh, wow, that looks really great. Maybe I will, maybe I'd be interested in this, even though I don't play video games. This one, I need a little bit more of a sell. It just looks like, it's very popular. That's good to hear, Sophia. I mean, to me, this just looks like standard fantasy fare. I don't see anything right now that I'm like, ooh, that's very unique. I'm like, okay, it's fantasy, you know? So I'm like, how is this different than The Witcher and all those other things, okay? You guys were talking about the box office, like Faye's like 200 million. I just hope that the budget is low, because the way this is coming together makes me nervous. Like, I don't even know who Kit Connor could be playing, because all these characters are wearing masks. So I'm like, who's he gonna be? I don't even see a character for Kit Connor to play. Would he be a new character? We'll have to find out for sure. Now, what really concerns me, we'll get rid of just the characters. Look at Alex Garland's box office. Who would hire this guy for this thing? Unless the box office for this, unless the budget is like super low. These are the movies he's directed. Like, holy crap, look at Warfare, 32 million worldwide. Oh my God. Like, Civil War was his real chance to, go commercial, and he messed it up. He fudged it, That's funny, Mika. He is the Ryan Gosling of directors. He has his fans, but not a lot of them. People certainly do like his work, and I have to say his work is sometimes quite good. And he is, thanks, Larry. He is, of course, writing he wrote the 28 Days, Weeks, and Years Later movies. And I think 28 Years Later is poised to actually do quite well. So we'll see. Sorry. Okay. We'll see how everything works out. I do think these movies are good, SMR Goose, but I have to put my business hat on, okay? I have to put my business hat on because I'm like, I don't see any money here for hiring someone. That's what makes me concerned. So Alex, I forgot to move the arrow. So Alex Garland. Wait a minute, let me check these things here. Okay. My friend said, I can't believe I sent you 46 text messages and you didn't call me. I'm like, I'm literally on the live stream. I'm texting you as I'm on the live. I will call you back. She got so angry with me. All right. All right, so sorry about that. I just felt really bad. So I had to write it down. Okay, I had to write them back. All right, so what I think is the most interesting to me here is that you would have somebody who was openly LGBTQ as the lead of an Elden Ring movie. That, to me, is very exciting and is moving us in a direction we've been actually discussing. By the way, I wanted to point out that Kit Connor and Joseph Quinn spend a lot of time together. They might just be BFFs. Nobody knows for sure. The Warfare press tour was very flirty across the board. But they were also all hanging out, these two guys were hanging out together with Doja Cat. So I thought that was very interesting to have one of them here and one of them here. And I thought that was an interesting correlation there. I'm big fans of both of them, by the way. I like both these actors quite a bit. All right. So, Heartstopper. Heartstopper is turning out to be an extremely influential show because, of course, it gave us Wiccan, and now it's giving us Kit Connor. Now, I want to say something here. Kit Connor has made it very clear, first of all, two things that Kit Connor said. One, he did not appreciate having to divulge his real-life orientation, which I want to be respectful of. So I don't want to talk about it too much, but I do think that the representation that he's giving is important. And also he clarified that he's bi. So that's also something important to be respectful of. But, Joe Locke is very openly LGBTQ. He's such a great guy. Joe Locke recently, they asked him about his contract, and Joe Locke said he signed up to be in Marvel for his whole life. And I thought that was really funny. I like his enthusiasm. So Heartstoppper is a really, really successful big show. And it's, I think it was, it's pretty successful, but it's successful enough that it's launched these careers and, they're having one more movie to wrap things up instead of a fourth season. And you can see that major franchises are picking up these actors. Then, of course, so in addition to Joe Locke, I also want to point out how much Jonathan Bailey is doing. Not only with Wicked, but the upcoming Jurassic World film. And every time I talk about this, I feel really bad for Matt Bulmer, who came who entered Hollywood too early, and was up for Superman, but things unfortunately didn't work out because it was still a different time, and I think it's too bad, but Matt Bomer's still working. He's still getting great opportunities. And that's right, Mystic. I think Matt Bomer opened a lot of, he might not have been able to go totally through the doors himself, but I think he certainly helped to push them open. So, but I hope in history books, Luke Evans and Lee Pace too. I don't want to debate how out people are. I don't think that's appropriate. But I think that Matt Bomer, I really think that he should get. I think he really should get a lot of credit for what he's accomplished. And I hope that as they write, there's also people like Rock Hudson and stuff like that. But as, LGBTQ representation in major blockbusters continues to get more and more substantial, I really hope that people who helped this happen along the way eventually, if not now, also, I'm saying it, get the recognition that they deserve. Matt Bomer should be in the Hollywood history books for what he accomplished. I feel really strongly about that. Look at you guys. A bunch of you were being messy in there. I see all of you. I see your messy comments. All right. So does anybody have any questions or comments about this story? Not too much to say here. I think I'm interested to hear about this movie. I'm a big Matt Bomer fan. Jose says that it only counts as represent. I don't agree with you, Jose. I feel that for too long, okay, so let me explain something to you if you don't know it. For a very long time, one of the reasons that actors were not able to come out was because they would therefore not be able to play straight roles. And so that's why so many actors had to stay in the closet, which is really unfortunate. So I think that the fact that Neil Patrick Harris too, Obed, I think that's true. But I think Neil Patrick Harris never has played the kind of roles that we're talking about, like in major blockbusters. I think, and in genre content. I mean, there's many people who deserve credit. I just want to make sure Matt Bomer's name is up there. And that's right, Ian McKellen, Sophia. Ian McKellen, very big deal, huge deal, very progressive and important. If the character, so that's why it's important to see openly LGBTQ actors playing straight characters or characters that their sexuality isn't defined. So often it was like, oh, well, we have to say that your character is this way to fit your orientation in real life. So that's the way it used to be. And then also lead roles in just blockbusters in general. I mean, that's a really big deal. So I think that's important. I think you'd be shocked how much it counts. If Jurassic, let me just say this: if Jurassic World Rebirth is a major hit, because Wicked obviously very much is made to appeal to the LGBTQ crowd, and actually, thankfully, went even beyond that, and that's why it's such a even bigger hit. But if Jurassic World Rebirth is a huge hit with Jonathan Bailey as one of the leads, as a very openly LGBTQ actor, that's going to be, I just can't tell you what a big deal that would be. So let's see what happens. All right. I will look into the character of Melania. Alex says, Elden Ring sold over 30 million copies, highest ever for that developer. Okay, my business hat's very happy. Dancing Dog 60 says, I've watched people play Elden Ring on Twitch, even though I don't play it myself. This has potential. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, that's great. Oliver said, guilty as charged, being messy, baby. You can be messy. I can't be messy. I can just host a space for you to be messy. You can be messy over here. And I'll just look away, pretend I don't see your messiness. Let's see here. Paul says, do you see the video game craze in Hollywood lasting as long as the superhero craze? I don't know. I think The Last of Us has caused real damage. I think it's caused really significant damage. Video on that tomorrow. That video actually will come out tomorrow. I worked very hard on it. I'm off tomorrow, and so I wanted to make sure I had a video to go up tomorrow morning. All right, well, let's go to the third story of the day because we're almost at an hour, and I promised you a Q&A today. All righty. Story number 2, or number 3. Boom, baby! All right, everybody wants to know, are they going to kill off Thor? All right, so why did everybody say this? Well, earlier this week, Chris Hemsworth released a statement on social media. Let's read it. So he said, playing Thor has been one of the greatest honors of my life. For the last 15 years, I've held Mjolnir and then Stormbreaker, we all try to forget that, as the god of thunder. But what has made it truly special was sharing it with all of you. Your passion, your cheers, and your love for this character have meant everything to me. Thank you for making my journey through the Marvel Cinematic Universe unforgettable. Next up, Doomsday. Okay, so everybody was like, what? Well, first off, it's just 15 years. I mean, Hugh Jackman laughs at that. He's done double that. And I think that Chris Hemsworth will be able to play this character for quite some time. He might just be celebrating the 15th anniversary, because 15 is a pretty good milestone. Now, when I saw this statement, I don't know if this rumor is true or not, because I just saw it when I was doom scrolling on Twitter the other day. But somebody said that some people were upset with some of the changes in the story for Doomsday, and some actors felt shortchanged, and wink, wink, maybe that was Hemsworth. And I saw this statement, and I felt it was just Hemsworth being like, I'm very happy with Marvel. Please nobody start anything saying I'm not. That's just what I thought. I thought it was just him being, that's right. Yeah, it's like he doesn't want to pull an Elizabeth Olsen. He's like, I love being in the MCU, and I don't want there to be any confusion about it. You might not see me on a golf course or having dinner with anybody else who's in Doomsday. All those photos online, I think somebody was like, we just see all these people hanging out. We're not seeing them actually filming anything, which I think is pretty funny. But yeah, so that's what I thought was happening. But then it got even more interesting when earlier today, they released this video of Thor and Loki brotherly moments. And it did start to seem like maybe they were going to kill Thor off, right? I don't think so. Okay, so let's do that. That's the question. Are they going to kill Thor? Are they going to kill Thor off? There's no way they're telegraphing something this hard. If anything, maybe they're just trying to throw out stuff so that, like there was a rumor going around that Ryan Reynolds was putting out fake rumors so that you wouldn't know for sure what was going to happen in Deadpool and Wolverine. And that was effective, by the way. Everybody really, there were a lot of fun surprises in Deadpool and Wolverine. So maybe this is Marvel. Nobody's everybody might hate Ryan Reynolds right now, but you got to give the guy credit. His creative and his business hat are sharp. He is very, very strong in advertising, creative, protecting a film. He is very, very savvy. And I just, I don't think it could be so easily replicated. So I got to tell you, I think it's almost for sure that Thor isn't getting killed off. If anything, this is just, the brass at Marvel and Disney trying to maybe redirect people or fool them. But why would you ruin your own movie months in advance? It doesn't make any sense. All right, so that's just my thoughts on this. I think he's going to be just fine. I'm not at all worried about it. So I think he's too popular a character. I think honestly, I honestly feel it's more like he doesn't want there to be any question as to whether or not he's happy. He just wants to make it super clear that he loves being in the MCU and he doesn't plan to ever go anywhere. At least it won't be his idea. Anthony says Thor 5 could be Thor and Loki trying to escape hell. I mean, yeah, technically I guess he could die and he would just be in wherever Hela is, but I forget all the names. It's been a while since I covered Thor. But yeah, he will always be there. Mystic says, but weren't Iron Man and Cap popular? Yeah, but look how it went killing them off. I don't think the MCU can handle losing another major character like that. And why didn't you include Black Widow? She was also popular. God damn it. I don't think they're going to kill him. And if they were, they wouldn't have said it this early. Barry the Manilowski says, it's important to remember test screenings aren't the be-all, end-all. Sinners and Barbies had middling test screenings. F4 deserves a fair shake. For sure it does. I mean, you should always take everything with a grain of salt. I didn't tell you what I thought of the movie because I haven't seen it. Pi says, to be fair, it's not like the Marvel was done anything popular with Thor. Yeah, if they have, Thor's great. Get your Thor slander out of here. Steven says Valhalla. Oh, yeah, that's right, the good hell. Or the heaven, Valhalla. Wanda's attorney says he can't die yet. We have to find out why Thor was crying. Maybe that's why he was crying. Rodney, I like how you willed yourself to the number 2 position. Oh, look, there's Ben 10. He is numero, because he's from, I forget number in French, but He's because he's in, I have this dance song I like to listen to where it counts back, or, it says, it's like techno music, but they keep saying like, and back to They go, and back to and back to and I'm like, oh, hilarious. Okay. And then Enter for None says, I thought Hemsworth was semi-retiring or stopping huge projects because of health reasons. That's true, but I think it's too early for that. Because why would he say all that and then be like, see you in Doomsday and probably Secret Wars, and we're like, then don't say bye now. Real Life Quinn says, even if they don't kill him off, maybe a step back. I think if you think Beta Ray Bill is taking over the Thor movies, you want to see Marvel have a flop. I mean, I know some of you like Beta Ray Bill quite a bit, which I've never understood. Thank you, Heather. But I'm telling you right now, normies will never understand Beta Ray Bill besides like a cameo. Pi, I don't think anybody blames Chris Hemsworth for Thor 4. That's Taika Waititi, and it ruined his career. So justice was served. All right, let's go on to the Q&A because it's already 57 minutes. So we're doing pretty good on time. Okay, Q&A, because my friend is like, wants me to look at these 43 photos. I've got to look at 43 photos, man. Okay, 10-minute Q&A. So we'll go to, I can see the timing on my timer. David, Love and Thunder was a mess, but it had its good moments. But I wouldn't throw out Thor because of it. Dancing Dog 60 says, Grace, I can't believe it was 50 years when my dad took me to see Jaws at the Charles Cinema. It was the first time I heard my dad scream. What a great story, Dancing Dog 60. What a great... is there a place you can submit that to the Jaws team? Because I think their publicity department would love that. You should tweet that to like Universal or Jaws and see if you can, or the Academy Museum, and see if you can get them to use that. Ivan, of course we can stay positive for Fantastic Four. I'm being positive. Tim, I don't know if Tony Gilroy really wants to be in the genre space. And he probably already has his money. So we'll see. I really liked what he did with Andor. I wish he'd be a little more... I wish we could pair him with a good producer. It would be like, for the love of God, Tony, pick up the pacing a little bit. Oliver says, I thought it was cute that Kit Connor and Joseph Quinn were holding hands on the red carpet. Yeah, I saw that. I saw them holding hands and attending the Vanity Fair Oscar party together. Let's see here. Ronnie says, hey, Grace, I saw a clip of the Karate Kid Legends premiere. Jackie Chan was asked about Rush Hour 4. Yeah, I saw it. Talk about till you're 90. Jackie Chan took a decade further and said he'd probably be making Rush Hour 4 when he's 100. I know some people are very upset with Jackie Chan, and I don't know enough about it to comment on it myself, but I can tell you as a on-screen persona, he still got it. I got really annoyed that people were like, ugh, you're the only one who likes Karate Kid Legends, Grace. And I'm like, over 50% of critics like it. What are you talking about? Hey, thank you, Ryan. I think it's because I don't know why people always, I don't know. I guess it's good to be talked about. But I'm like, I'm not the only critic who likes Karate Kid Legends. And even if I am, I still do. Vitor, I don't know for sure if Hulk is in Spider-Man 4. I would actually advise against it. I hope they actually don't do that. I think that's too much Hulk, and it makes it too much like Thor Ragnarok. Hulk can't go around fixing everybody's movie. Also, I don't know what the heck Spider-Man would even do with Hulk, except bounce off of him, both comedically and physically. All right, just like that. That's how he'd do it. Bug says, F4, do we think that their doom is the doom in Doomsday? It is the doom in Doomsday. It is. Maybe it's a doom from a different universe. I mean, we don't know what universe they're in at the end of the movie. Let's see here. David says, I wish we got a Black Widow movie after Cap 2 and a Wanda movie after Doctor Strange 2. Yeah, I don't know. I was so happy with the way Yelena Belova was treated in Thunderbolts, but nobody went to see that movie, so I'm sad. Let's see here. Tyler says there, I mean, look, it's like the same way I feel about a female president. I'd really like to have one, but let's read the room. I mean, like, it's just, it's like we want Marvel and we want these female characters in general and the Democratic Party to do well. And so, like, that's really very important. It's really sad. And you would think, well, do they need better female characters? I mean, look, maybe it's the characters. Maybe because Yelena doesn't have any powers, because Wanda powered Doctor Strange to 1 billion, or almost, thank you very much. Wanda, I will sing your praises every single goddamn video. Tyler says, there's a recent story about Lupita Nyong'o getting new representation. Will you consider a future live stream doing an explanation of what that means for the differences between agencies? I'll tell you really quickly what it means. It means that Lupita Nyong'o feels she's not getting the roles that she should. When someone switches agencies, it means either they feel or someone talked them into the idea that their career is not where it should be. And maybe what they need to do is get new representatives. And that's why people do that. And so that's, when you see somebody change representation, that's why they're doing it. And I would agree with Lupita Nyong'o. Her career is not where it should be. It's certainly not bad. I mean, she was in The Wild Robot. She was in A Quiet Place Day One. She should be doing a little bit better than she is. She's an Oscar winner, for Pete's sake. She's not in the same conversations as her peers, and that's not good. Casey says, do we have test screenings in New York City or just LA? Sometimes they're in New York City. If they're not going to be in LA, so the suits can attend, they usually like to have press screenings in the heartland to get the real audience members. Because people in the coasts will see any movie. We're like, that looks awful. See you Saturday, But the people in the middle of the country are the real once-a-month movie types. And so that's why Hollywood so often focuses on them. MM92 says, hi, Grace, I'm curious. What film in recent history had you completely torn on business and creative? Oh, and for fan. That's easy. Thunderbolts. I really like the movie, but I think it's, from a business perspective, extremely poorly constructed. House of Overton wants Tilda Swinton for the new Bellatrix Lestrange. I think she might have aged out of that role, I think. I'm sorry to say. Thanks, Angela. I will enjoy my friends' photos. They must be pretty darn impressive if they expected a call. Aaron Mansfield says Thor Corps in Secret War if Thor dies in Doomsday. Oh, yeah, he's got to lead Thor Corps. Let's see. He might not lead Thor Corps, but he might meet the Thor Corps because, there's, some people from different worlds. If you go read Secret Wars. I can't say something's more worth your time than reading the 2015 Jonathan Hickman Secret Wars comic. That is clearly being used extensively for the upcoming films from Fantastic Four on. So if you want to get the reference points, it's been a while since the MCU has focused on a comic, but they are focusing on Secret Wars. So you need to, if you are a comic book fan, you need to have read that. Oh, look at Faye. I like seeing some of you. I like seeing people I see here all the time get to be in different sections, to be on the leaderboard. Way to represent, Faye. Oh, Natalie Dormer. Anthony Brown says for Bellatrix. No offense to the other choice, but my vote would go for Anthony Brown. Wanda's Attorney. Wanda's Attorney is very good. I'm not surprised to see you on the leaderboard at all. Let's see here. Wanda's attorney says, shockingly, the superhero movie that they're most interested right now in is Supergirl. You know, Wanda's attorney? We're right on the same page. I would actually agree with that. Not only for Supergirl, but I'm very excited for Lobo in that film. I think that actually, I was very against it at first, but now, you know, maybe James Gunn is cooking. Ugh, why is my phone blowing up? I'm gonna have to get off. I have too many things happening here. Oh, I only had 3 minutes left. Let's see here. 1 second. Let me just text this person and say I'll call in a minute. Does anyone else have like their autocorrect just awful? My autocorrect like makes horrible leaps in judgment as to what I want to type. Noel, I've seen the Hacks finale and it's really, really good. You're going to be shocked at the Hacks finale. I'm glad everybody else at least is having the same problem with autocorrect. Maybe I'll shut my autocorrect off because it's nuts. I'm like, how do you get that from what I was trying to say? Jay King says, hi Grace, it's been a while. Hello. Since I've joined a stream, but I just want to let you know that your channel is always a constant source of joy. I'm thrilled that you feel that way. That means so much to me. Thank you, Jay King. You made my day. Casey, I'm excited about Batman 2 as well. It better be. I really have my heart set on Mr. Freeze at this point. Dancing Dog 60 says, Beyonders, I know you are all movie people, so I urge you all to watch TCM movies. Yes, you got to watch classic films. You know what I watched last night? Going My Way with Barry Fitzgerald. I'm a big Barry Fitzgerald fan, and it's got Bing Crosby in it. Great movie. I might watch the sequel tonight, The Bells of St. Mary's. Get my church on. I love it. Floppy Disk Channel, I don't think I'll watch Survivor Season 50. All right, hold on. I better go. I was about to end anyway. All right, I'll see you guys on tomorrow. There's a video going up in the morning, and then I will see you on Sunday for movie math. All right, everybody, have a great day. See you soon. Bye-bye. Bye.